Hi everyone, thanks for joining. My name's Dennis and this is the Car Den. Today we've got a 2021 Dodge Charger Hellcat Redeye wide body. What differentiates the regular Hellcat from the Redeye wide body, which is this particular one, the Hellcat has a 707 horsepower supercharged V8. It's a 6.2 liter. This particular one, since it's the Redeye, the differences really kind of come under the hood. The supercharger is a little bit bigger. Some of the internals have been changed around and beefed up for this vehicle. And some of the other driveline components are changed just slightly to handle the extra power. Now, what you get is you get almost 800 horsepower, which is about 100 horsepower up from the regular Charger. The supercharger on this is about 2.7 liters, which is larger than a lot of compact car four-cylinder engines in their vehicles. So this is no joke. This is it's a big supercharger. It's a bigger motor. This is a very, very high horsepower. It's a very fun car to drive, but it's just something else. When you look at some of the engineering and some of the design that went into something like this, especially with the motor, it's really incredible what Dodge put into this thing to get this kind of power out of this in a four-door sedan like this. It's pretty incredible. Now, this being the Redeye and the wide body, this does have the wide body kit on it, which in my opinion, I think it accentuates the good look of the vehicle as it stands. The Charger Hellcat itself, I think, looks very nice, but the wide body kit, it really makes the car look more muscular. Just in my time driving around, there's been a lot of people that have been checking this car out. In fact, I just passed some guys doing some road work for the second or third time, and I got a thumbs up from a few of those guys. So this car does stand out, and being the color that it is, which is called Go Mango, a rather appropriate color for October here. We got black and orange, so Halloween coming up. It's kind of looks rather Halloweenish. It stands out. The black accents, the black wheels, and then the painted orange calipers. It's a nice little contrast. I personally have always liked black wheels on cars. Some cars it doesn't look so good. It almost looks like too much. But on this particular one, I think it looks great. The wheels themselves, they have a very deep offset, which I like. I like a deep offset wheel. These are an 11-inch wide wheels. They have 305 series width tires. And it looks good. It definitely helps with the car. It helps with the handling. It helps with the acceleration. Although with 800 horsepower, you're not going to get a whole lot of traction with a rear-wheel drive car, but it does help out a little bit. So inside the Charger Hellcat Redeye, what do you get? Well, the Redeye doesn't have very much in terms of options over and above what you would see with the Hellcat. The interiors are largely the same. There's not a whole lot of differentiation between those. Now, this particular vehicle does come equipped with the carbon package, or should I say the carbon and suede. So you get carbon fiber inlays along the center console here and along the dashboard, which are pretty nice. They have a matte finish to them, which I kind of like. And then it also comes with the suede headliner, which is a nice feel. Now this also comes with the Alcantara seat inserts and the steering wheel. So instead of this being leather, which you get on a lot of the SRT vehicles and the Hellcats, this is Alcantara. And then the seat inserts, instead of full leather, they're suede, which is it's a nice feel. It's different. I like the all leather as well, but sometimes personal preference, people like the suede. I think it's kind of nice. Or should I say the Alcantara? Now, this also comes optioned with the Harman Kardon stereo, which sounds pretty good. In this vehicle, I don't really particularly know why it's so boomy sounding. I played with the settings a little bit. It sounds good. If you're using media that isn't the radio, like a Tidal, if you're streaming Tidal music, or if you have music on your phone, it sounds better, but like I said, it still sounds kind of boomy. I'm not really sure what they did with the tuning with the subwoofer in back, but if you turn the bass down a little bit, it does sound better. But it is a nice option. It's much better than the standard stereo that you get in this car. Now, the SRT pages on this vehicle, like a lot of the other SRT vehicles, they give you certain types of race options and customizations to your driveline components and certain other things. Now, with this particular vehicle, there's a couple options that are within the SRT pages under the race options section. One thing that they added on this, which is kind of unique, is a chiller feature, which uses part of the air conditioning system to help cool the intercooler to lower temperature. So for instance, if you're racing on a track and it's really hot out, I believe Dodge claims up to about a 40 degree decrease in temperature, which is pretty substantial. One thing, like a lot of people may or may not know, the cooler the air temperature is, the more optimal the engine will run and the less chance of performance loss. So that's actually kind of a really unique feature that they have on that. Like a lot of the other SRT vehicles, they have different options within the SRT pages. For the shift light, you could turn that on. The launch control, again, same as a lot of other SRT vehicles, you could change the launch control RPM, and then you can activate it through here as well. One thing that's kind of cool about this vehicle, since it is rear-wheel drive, you do have a line lock. For those that don't know what a line lock is, and this is something that's been around for decades, and a lot of people at quarter-mile drag races use, it basically locks the front brakes up so that you don't have to use the brake pedal and do a brake torque, which will in turn wear down your rear brake pads. What this does is it locks the front wheels only and allows the rear wheels to spin freely so that you could do a burnout. So for instance, if you're at a drag strip and you have tires that you're using for the drag strip, such as slicks, this allows you to push the gas pedal down, spin those, heat them up, and then when you're ready to actually run your quarter mile, tires are nice and hot, nice and sticky. I honestly don't know of another car on the road right now that has a line lock feature, with the exception of this one, which is kind of funny. From the factory, that is. Another thing on the performance pages, like some of the other SRT vehicles, they have the different gauges and different meters that the vehicle is showing you with regards to acceleration, horsepower, torque. There's a dyno that's built into this. I don't know exactly how accurate it is. I've read some people have said that they've noticed their horsepower numbers go up. They put a cold air intake or something like that on, and they say they go from 700 horsepower to 725 horsepower. I don't know exactly how accurate that is. Obviously, the claim numbers from Dodge are one thing, but until the vehicle's on a true chassis dyno and you get your baseline and you add your new components on, I don't know exactly how accurate this is. This vehicle does have a dedicated launch button on the dashboard. When you push it, which is nice, it's a physical button. When you push it, it takes you to the launch page and allows you to turn on the launch control and also set your RPM. This does have the Uconnect system on it, which is the newest revision of Uconnect. It works extremely well. It's nice and smooth. My Jeep has the generation from 2 generations ago, I believe. And that particular one was still good, but the resolution on the screen is lower than the newer Uconnect, and it's also definitely slower. One thing that you do really gain, in my opinion, that's a big benefit over the nicer graphics and the smoother performance, is you get the option for Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which is built into these. If anybody's looking for something like that, the newer systems, that's the way to go. If you're buying a used vehicle, just keep in mind that some of those, they're not going to have that feature on them because that wasn't something that came out until a couple years ago. But it is a nice feature. Within the touchscreen itself, you've got your typical controls. A lot of this is very, very similar to other Dodge products, and it's also very similar to Chrysler and Jeep products. And it's not a bad thing. Continuity, I guess, is kind of a good thing. It does keep costs down. There's a familiarity if you're going from one vehicle to the next, that you're going to know what to expect in the next vehicle. The screen is a pretty good size. It's about 8.4 inches, which it's not as big as some other manufacturers out there that have, basically TVs going across your dashboard, but it works, it's functional. It's more than what most people would probably ever need or want. Again, your controls, a lot of your controls for climate control and seats and your mirror, they're all controlled within the screen here. Heated and ventilated seats, heating steering wheel. The Uconnect apps, again, this is largely a lot like the other Uconnect systems in other vehicles. Your radio feature, you have your different source selects, so you can choose between your Android Auto or your CarPlay, or if you have any type of USB devices plugged in, or if you have a satellite radio system enabled on this. Navigation system. Navigation's pretty good. Again, since this is the newer Uconnect, the navigation screen itself does have a nicer look to it. It's a little bit more detailed. It's a little bit more refined, if you will. If people are using Android Auto or CarPlay on this, I don't know how much you're going to use the built-in navigation, because with Android Auto and CarPlay, you do get the functionality of either using Google Maps or the Apple Maps or Waze even. And I think it's kind of cool. It's a nice touch. I personally like it a little bit better than the built-in navigation, because the built-in navigation system is only as good as the updates that are released for it on any given basis. So for instance, if you don't have the most recent map pack in your car, you might be looking at a map that's a year or two old if Dodge or Jeep or Chrysler or whomever hasn't released a new map update. With Google, it's different because a lot of that stuff is generally updated on the fly. So what you're seeing is way more current through Google Maps than what you're seeing through this. The added benefit too is the interface on the Google Maps or on Waze is much nicer. Obviously, people know that Waze, you've got different speed trap indicators on there. You've got activity from other people that are driving on the road in terms of traffic backups and whatnot. It's a little bit more real time than maybe like Google Maps is. Again, it's a really cool feature. It's definitely nice to have. So what's driving an 800 horsepower four-door sedan like from Dodge? Oh, pretty easy. Drives like a normal sedan. You wouldn't really know much different until you hit the accelerator pedal and the car takes off like a rocket ship. It's a big sedan. It's got a long wheelbase, so it's relatively comfortable to drive. It drives nice. As long as you have the suspension in the normal mode, it's not terrible. This rides on 20-inch wheels with 35 series tires, so you got a little bit less sidewall than you would have on other cars. And you're gonna notice some bumps, especially in Chicago. You're gonna notice some bumps in the road more so than you would anywhere else. In sport mode or in track mode, you're gonna feel it. It'll rattle the fillings out of your mouth in some cases. But otherwise, it's a nice riding car. Like I said, it doesn't ride too stiff. It's relatively comfortable. This is one of those vehicles where everybody takes notice, especially the color and how it sits. It's hard not to have eyes follow you in this car. But you don't buy it to be subtle. Let's face it, you've got a big sedan with black wheels, bright orange color, 800 horsepower. This is not a subtle vehicle. You're not buying this to kind of blend in, so to speak. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's kind of what the car was made for. Kind of stand out. This is one of those outrageous vehicles that kind of breaks the mold in some aspects. Certainly really isn't anything like it on the road, and really wasn't even when it came out. But like I said, this does draw the eyes, and I've had a lot of people watch the car go by, and if it's not for the look, it's for the exhaust. Dodge, I think, for the Charger and even the Challenger, I think out of the factory, I think their stock exhaust sounds really good. I prefer it to the Dodge Durango stock exhaust, or even the like the SRT Durango or the Hellcat Durango, or even the Jeep Grand Cherokee, the SRT factory exhaust. I think the Charger, it's got a much better exhaust tone from the factory. It's definitely loud, which is not a bad thing. Like I said, you're not buying this for subtlety. If you are, you're in the wrong market. But on a cold start, it's pretty noticeable. It's got a little bit of a tinny sound to it, which I personally like. Back to the driving, this is a 2021, and in true Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, whatever fashion you want to call it, the interior's kind of got its fair share of creaks and rattles, almost right out of the gates. I guess that's kind of on par with the build quality from Dodge, and they've gotten better, but there's still your kind of cheap bits that you get here and there. There's the body panels that maybe don't necessarily fit together very well, or could fit better. There's your fair share of plastic and whatnot, which, again, it's Dodge, so I guess it's to be expected to an extent. Some of the build quality and some of the material choices, maybe they could have been a little bit better, but what can you do? You're really primarily buying this more for the looks and the performance than you are for the refinement. If you're looking for refinement, then a Mercedes or a BMW is probably going to be your go-to car. So 800 horsepower gets up and goes. There's no doubt about it. It's rear-wheel drive, and it's a little tricky to keep on the road and get that power down, but it's fun to drive as long as you're not doing anything too crazy. The car itself will keep you from killing yourself. It's got 305 series tires, the section width in the rear, and they're 3-season tires, so they're not going to get you the best grip, especially when it's cooler out like it is now. It's about 55 degrees outside, so you're not going to get the best grip out of them. But if you can keep your foot out of it for long enough, you either won't be constantly fighting the traction control or spinning your tires, and the car will get moving. There's no doubt about it. This car, in my opinion, where it really shines is when you start getting up to around 65, 70 miles an hour and you nail it. That's when the car just takes off. Obviously, you're going fast enough to the point where you're not going to really be able to get any wheel spin at that speed, but the power on the car to be able to move a vehicle this size is pretty remarkable, to say the least. Like I said, that's where you really notice it. Now, with other cars that have like all-wheel drive, like the Grand Cherokee SRT, or even like the Durango SRT, seeing as how those are all-wheel drive, those things, you just step on it from a dead stop and they just go. You get a little bit of wheel spin and the car just takes off. So why would someone buy one of these? Well, bragging rights maybe. 800 horsepower in a sedan, those are some pretty substantial numbers, and there's no doubt about it. It's going to turn some heads and gives you something to talk about. Oh, well, and this too. Can't beat that noise. And the acceleration is just, it's quick. It's deceivingly quick. So maybe that's why someone would want to buy it. The car looks great. There's no doubt about it. I think Dodge, even though this is I guess you can call it a dated design, it has been around for a while. I think it's still attractive looking. I think they've done a good job with the body panels and the ground effect kits that they put on the Charger Hellcat and the Redeye. There's no doubt that it looks good, it looks sharp. I guess you could say it's dated looking. I mean, it's dated by age, by the number of years it's been around, but I don't really see it as being a dated looking vehicle. I think they still look really good, and this particular model with the wide body kit, it's a sharp looking car. It's very aggressive looking. It's got a really nice stance to it. It's just a sharp looking car. I think it's personally really stood up, or should I say stood the kind of test of time. Normally where we have manufacturers trying to refresh cars every handful of years or so, I think this one's really held up well, and I personally still like the look of it. I like the rear tail lights and how they did that. The car just has a nice looking stance to it, and all around I think it's time for a refresh. I'm sure it's due up, and it couldn't hurt, but I wouldn't say it would need a radical refresh. Thanks for watching, everyone. That's a quick review of a 2021 Dodge Charger Hellcat Redeye wide body. Hope you enjoyed watching. Come back next time and have some more videos for you. Again, my name's Dennis and you're watching The Car Den. Thanks again.